Hey everyone, welcome to my first draw and chat, sketch and talk, I don't know what to call it, video. I want to make using my sketchbook more of a habit. I used to draw in my sketchbook so often, especially when I was first starting to get really into art, and I've kind of lost that habit, so it's kind of something that I would like to gain again. Today I am using this square moleskin sketchbook. As you can see, all of the pages are falling out, so I'm not sure that I would recommend it as far as structure goes. But I mean, the pages are fine. Definitely not for use of paint or ink or anything like that, but good for just generally sketching. But again, if you want all of your pages to stay intact, maybe get a different book or a different sketchbook. Today I am going to be drawing a picture that I took a couple weeks ago for a potential printmaking project, and I haven't ended up using it for that yet, so I'm gonna just sketch it in here for you guys, and maybe I'll turn it into something different later. Today I am using this pencil. I think you can probably just get it online or at Staples. I don't know the brand, but it is a .3 lead pencil, and I like it a lot because you can get very precise with your drawings, which is what I enjoy doing. So whenever I'm drawing, I always use photo reference. I don't think I'm quite at the point yet where I can just draw from memory or imagination, because drawing from reference is kind of the way I learned how to draw, and so far it's served me pretty well. Usually I take all of my own pictures for reference, especially if I'm doing like a human figure or something. So some of you asked me some questions to answer during this video, so because I wanna make it like a thing, like, oh, we're hanging out and I'm drawing and talking. It also makes it a little less lonely in some ways. I do work from home, and a lot of the time I'm alone. It's nice to do a little talking, so that when I leave my house for the first time that day, I can actually like hold conversations. So this will be my primer for that. Anyway, some of you asked me some questions to answer while I draw, so I think I will go ahead and do that. The first question that somebody asked is, how long have I been drawing or doing art in general? I always like to trace it back to maybe 8th grade. That was when I actually first started to draw in like a consistent way. I was really emo, and I like to draw things like I like to draw band members and like My Chemical Romance inspired art and things like that. But I will say that I don't think I really had a passion for art until sophomore year of high school, so about five years ago. So I really started using my sketchbook at the time, and I was in art classes in high school, which I don't, honestly, if I hadn't been for those classes and the teacher that I had, I really don't think that I would be doing art right now, which is kind of scary to think about. But yeah, I'm so grateful for the art education I received in high school, and the way art was talked about, it really made it seem like something that I wanted to do. I know I still have a lot of improving to do as far as everything goes, like as far as technique, concept, like just everything. I know I have a lot of improving to do, but that's what I kind of hope to do with this video as well. Just kind of express myself in a series of different ways. This hand is turning out real weird, but that's okay. I'm taking a life drawing class right now, and I think this week we're starting hands, which will be great for me. This will just be like a really weird long hand, I guess. Guys, I'm kind of embarrassed about this whole thing because I feel like it's totally a different realm from what I'm used to, I think. Like, I posted videos on YouTube before, but it just has never felt like my thing because I feel like I'm kind of a boring person. Anyway, on to the next question. Someone asked if I study art or if art is just a hobby. I think it's both. Right now I am studying printmaking at my local university. For a while I was considering dropping out of college because I just didn't feel like it was what I wanted to be doing at the time. And last semester really changed that because for the first time since starting college, like 3 years ago, I actually made friends in a class, which sounds so depressing, but it's kind of true. It's really hard to make lasting friendships in some of your classes. And it actually happened last semester, and I kind of was reinvigorated to continue studying and push through, and I might be doing a BFA starting next year. I really don't know. It's still very unclear to me what my goals are educationally as far as art goes. But yeah, so now I study art, but I also try to maintain it as a habit or a hobby, obviously. And also I do art for work, so it is a lot to balance at times, but I don't really think I'd rather be doing anything else. Now I have two hands in there. This hand is also really huge. Don't really know what that's about, but you know, it's fine. Not everything has to be realistic or true to life, because that's what's fun about art. You can kind of do whatever with it. I feel like I generally stay on the safe side, and that's kind of something I would like to change about my work. I really want to do a lot more experimenting. Somebody asked what songs I like, and I think that's a really good question because most of my day, I just filmed a video for Patreon yesterday as well, and in it I kind of realized just how frequently I am listening to music or to podcasts. It's very rare for me to not be listening to something throughout my day. I think that goes back to the fact that I work from home and I spend a lot of time alone. So it's generally good for me to have some form of audio entertainment, I guess. Right now, I've been listening a lot to the Magnetic Fields. My favorite song is The Luckiest Guy on the Lower East Side. I love Belated Promise Ring by Iron and Wine. That's another one of my favorites. So now I'm moving on to the flower portion of the drawing. I don't know why Baby's Breath is the only flower that I ever draw. Probably because I have it right here. I've had this for about a year, and it makes an appearance in most art I do, but it never gets easier to draw because it is so fine. But I think that's part of the reason why I like it so much, because it's very delicate. So another question somebody asked is, how do I find inspiration to make art or to write? And that is a really good question, because I'm also curious to hear that about artists that I'm interested in, because I feel like it's a lot of the time it's a very random thing, I feel, or yeah, I think that's accurate to say. it's very hard to force artwork. At least for me, I feel like my best work is made when I'm kind of living in the space of a certain idea or feeling. I think a really good example of this was my zine that I put out late last year called Moth Boy. I think it came from I was doing a lot of thinking, a lot of like agonizing over different aspects of myself, as I frequently am. A lot of my art is about navigating self-identity and image and things like that. But a lot of my work is inspired by, let's say, more negative perceptions of the self, which I would love to alter one day, but it's just kind of the truth that I'm living in at the moment, with body image and with gender dysphoria and things like that. So that's unfortunately where I get a lot of my inspiration from. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not quite sure. I think pure emotion is one of the biggest motivators when it comes to art, as far as I see it, because it's such a good way to communicate. But more generally, I think, and maybe more positively as well, I am inspired by nature and I think human capacity to, again, feel a lot of complex things and the desire to communicate a lot of complex things. Now I'm going to work on kind of filling in the space of the shirt. I think I'm just gonna go for like a textured sort of look, but I better fill in the area around the plants because I don't want to lose the fineness of the branches. Okay, so I wrote my little poem, and now I'm going to affix it to my drawing and answer the last question. They asked how I have developed my style. My answer is, I don't know. I think things grow and things change as you improve or evolve, and style is one of those things. I think if you took a piece of mine that was, say, like a human figure drawing like this from even a year ago, it would look really different than how this turned out. So I don't know. It's a hard question, and I am still rambling on about it. I think I'm done with this piece. A thing that I'd like to work on in my work is adding a background. I tend to have all my subjects kind of floating in whatever space this is, and I don't know, like, it didn't really used to be a concern of mine, but I think it would be something that I'd like to work on more, is filling the space and giving the figure or whatever my subject is a kind of place to rest. With this one, I can't really think of what I'd like to do. Maybe I'll add to it later. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to do more of these in the future. I hope they're interesting. I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you again. Bye.